Hey guys, so glad you're back today. So today we're going to be talking about, is starting a service business worth it? So there we go. Is starting a service business worth it? In my opinion, 100%. So let's first of all understand what a service business is. A service business is going to be something that provides a service of some kind to a client. It's going to be something that's intangible, not a product that you're going to give them, but it's going to be typically a service that you're going to be doing for them. It's usually going to be a skilled trade, a skilled craft, a skill that you have that you can monetize. That's typically what's going to be a service-based business. You're going to go out to a client's house, or maybe maybe you're a diesel mechanic, an auto mechanic, then maybe they're coming to your building, to your place of business. You're a house cleaner, power washer, roofer. All these are different kinds of service-based businesses. So the question we get asked all the time is it worth it starting a service business? I can assure you of one thing, it is 100% worth it. And remember this, all service businesses have different profit margins built into those businesses, different average profit margins as far as those things go. So realize that all of them can be very successful. All of them can be very profitable. It just depends on how you build your business and if you know your cost of doing business. So is it worth it starting? 100%. I would definitely suggest if you have a skill, some kind of skill, whether it be painting, carpentry, mechanic, plumber, HVAC, electrical, house cleaner, power washer. I mean, this list can go on and on and on and on. If you have a skill, I would suggest starting your own service business. I believe that by starting a business, you can create the life that you love. You can create a very joyous life, a very fun life, an exciting life where you get to make choices of your own and you get to create a life that you love versus having one created for you by being an employee for somebody else. I have nothing against having employees because I've always had employees in my own businesses. But let me assure you of one thing, once you become the owner, it allows you some freedom that maybe you never knew you could possibly have. So starting a service business is a tremendous benefit, and I suggest you do it if you haven't done it already. We got a great course on this, just so you know. It works great to help you get from A to Z. It's step-by-step, 100% blueprint, guide, all of the above. It gets you where you want to be in the shortest amount of time possible with the shortest learning curve. Okay, so here, let's start with this. So what does a service business do? It performs an activity. So we know that we talked about it's a different kind of trade or a craft, but it's performing an activity for a client. So it's worth it when you go into business only if you perform your activities well. If you're going to do a crappy job, don't go into business. Don't waste anybody's time or your own time going into business. There's all these groups that you can get on Facebook. Now, one of them's Deals Gone Bad where I live. They talk about all the contractors who did a bad job for a client. The client goes on there, he says, hey, this guy did this or this girl did this and they did such a bad job. If you're going to do a crappy job in business, don't go into business. Don't waste your time because at that point, I promise you, it's not worth it. It's not worth starting a service business if you're not going to give it your all and be your very best. If you're going to be your very best, I promise you, it can be the most rewarding thing in the entire world. I have been able to travel all over the world, buy everything I've ever wanted to buy, do everything I've ever wanted to do as a small business owner, and live a life that I have enjoyed. I always say live simple so you can live large. I'm not the guy who you're going to see driving the Lamborghini because I don't care about that. I'd rather drive my pickup truck. I love my pickup truck. I'm just a normal guy who loves to build things and make them better and make my own life better even more in my families. We always were able to never miss one of our kids' functions by being in business. So every single one of our kids, we raised 6 kids, they all graduated high school at the same school. So we were always able to help them all get where they wanted to go. We never had to miss anything by owning a service business. So is it worth it? 100%. I think you should all own a service business. And if you don't believe me, just do it and try. Or go talk to those who do own those. And those who struggle, there's a reason they struggle. Those who hate their business, there's a reason they hate the business. Because they haven't learned the skills to run a business. They're employees, still not business. They're people just who treat their business like it's a job versus an actual business. There's a difference. And we'll talk about that later on in another video. But the point is you could have a great life. It's just up to you to create it. Okay? So let's go to the next one. So what's another big benefit? It's low startup cost. In many service businesses, you don't have to have a high startup cost in order to make it grow and to make it big and to make it, you can just start at a very low cost. I started my first company with just a credit card and $5,000 cash. I was able to start my first company and build it to what I needed to build it to. And I built it to 7 figures in 4 years. The next one I did the same way, the same process. We started another business where we had just low startup costs and we were able to build it. My daughter started her business and she does eyelashes. All she needed was a bed, and a few things, some supplies for about $300 or $400. She was able to start her first business, and she's been doing this for the last 4 years. So being in a service business is tremendous benefit to you with the low startup cost. People say, well, I can't afford it. Well, you can afford it if you just understand what the costs are. And that's where you just sit down and say, look, what do I have to do to start at the smallest place possible where I can build onto this? Sometimes you may have to rent a vehicle. Let's say we own, my youngest son owns a junk removal company, and I can tell you this, that sometimes he's had to rent a U-Haul truck to deliver and pick up junk for clients' homes. It's a very profitable business. It's a great business, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do just to get going, to get started, so you don't sit there and suffer and struggle. So make sure you look at different ways you can start your service business. So we go back to this last question here. Is starting a service business worth it? Well, 1,000,000% it's worth it. Start your own business. Find a way to create something that you love, something that you enjoy. If you already have that skill, monetize that skill versus building somebody else's dreams all the time. Learn to build your own dreams. You deserve the best life ever. You deserve to have the very best life. You don't have to be the richest person in the world, but you can definitely have a rich life, fulfilling and fulfilled, full of love and joy and excitement, something that's yours, that you built yourself and that you can enjoy every single day. I promise you, it makes the difference. You need help, reach out to me. I'm Eric Rios. I'm so glad you're here. You can always text me on my cell phone, 314-591-0479. I'm here to serve you, serve your family. We have great courses. We have great products to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. And I promise you, your life can be better.